there's something I think I'd like to say about cooking. You know, I get a lot of people who tend to feel really intimidated by cooking, and especially by being around people who seem to cook well or regard themselves as chefs. But you know what I always tell people is that everybody's got to eat. Recipes were created over time by necessity, by what was growing in and around what we had locally and seasonally, and you cook with your senses, you know? I think we're losing touch with the earth, we're losing touch with ourselves, and so we think cooking is, you know, some type of thing reserved for professional chefs, but no, that's a different level, right? Home cooks need to just start paying attention to what they want to eat, what's looking good in the market, what's good in your garden, you know, and to allow yourself, to give yourself permission to be creative, to experiment, and to make mistakes. You know, I'm astonished at the number of people who tell me they're afraid to make a mistake in the kitchen, and I say, make mistakes. Just like anything else, you have to try and fail and get back up again and see what works and what doesn't. And, you know, I think that's sort of the beauty of it. And, you know, as you cook, you begin to be friendly with the ingredients. You get to know what they're good with. Zucchini is good with tomato and basil, for example. I mean, we wouldn't have known this without trial and error. And so I think that we have to be less hard on ourselves and to stop comparing ourselves to, you know, these pros we see on TV who basically dedicated their entire lives to cooking and mastering the art of cooking and the cooking techniques, which is their profession. This is incredible, but it's not what everybody has to do just to put a meal on the table, right? So that's next level. That's different than you know, putting together a simple meal and feeling accomplished by having something tasty that's on the table and delicious and healthy, and that needs to start being really good enough right now, with the level of people who are sick and unhealthy due to, you know, eating processed foods or not having time to cook decent meals. You know, we have to sort of rally around this lifestyle change, cultural change of just normalizing simple food that is home cooked and not processed, not sprayed with chemicals and all of these things that are, you know, making life more complicated, more unhealthy, and, you know, just sort of think out of the box and think for yourself, you know. I mean, it sounds so out of the box these days to just be sort of radically natural in our lives and go back to the basics, and, you know, without looking at it as being backwards or going back in an unproductive way. You know, this is what sustained human beings for millennial, and our pets too. You know, they're all getting sick as well from terrible food and chemically laden food, and I'm just, you know, seeing these things lately more and more and more and more. It's really disturbing me, and I'm feeling like I need to talk about it more. I need to say it more, you know, that recipes are great, cooking shows are fantastic, you know, but they can just sometimes leave people feeling like they're not good enough, and that's just not true, you know. I think we all need to just give ourselves a break, be gentle on ourselves, and when you cook a good meal for yourself and your family, there's really nothing like it, you know. Well, and if those of you are wondering what I'm making here, this is just really all I did was saute some tomatoes and one red pepper, 2 tomatoes in olive oil, of course, my go-to for everything. A little bit of salt, sea salt, a little bit of black pepper, some fresh basil from the garden. My patio garden, by the way, is not a huge place. And because I didn't have tomato paste or pepper paste, I used harissa. It's a little bit spicy, but I didn't put too much in it, but I needed some kind of paste to make it a little thicker. And so I put that in there, and probably going to add some ground beef because that's what my family likes, but I think it would be great like this, just alone, even with some pasta, with some bread. Yes, good quality stuff. Balance out the carbs with vegetables, with protein, or rice, you know, whatever, you know, but always the healthiest you can find. So that's what's on my mind today. I've been sort of quiet for a long time because I'm processing a lot of things that I've been seeing lately. A lot of movement in my own life, a lot of movement in the world of food, in the world of medicine, in the world of chaos, in the world of harmony. There's problems and there are solutions, and so I take comfort and joy in cooking. I find it really hard to digest some of the stuff that's going on with our food and our ingredients, but there are so many things that we can do to counter that, and I think honestly, we need to do more and on larger scales as regular everyday consumers. And if those of you who are following because of the halal nature of my channel, or because you want to learn more about halal, I really think that we've already been given all of the tools and information in the notion of halal and of tayyib, so what is permissible and what is pure, and we should really be at the forefront of food knowledge and of holistic lifestyles and of caring for the environment and the animals by making great choices about what we eat. So instead of something just being, you know, halal and it's fast food and it's not even good for us, let's stop and think about what choices we're making and what message we're sending to the rest of the world, that halal is just about this label and it doesn't have alcohol or pork. What about all the other stuff? What about, are the animals being treated fairly, properly? Are the people who work on the farms, are they being treated properly? Are things being sprayed with chemicals that then, you know, hurt our bodies? Our bodies are an amana on us. And so what are we doing? What are we really doing that is truly halal and tayyib? You know, what are we doing to ourselves, our children, our families, our communities, and the rest of our world when we don't really pay attention to the highest standard, what is truly halal and tayyib? You know, collectively we can have a wonderful, amazing impact and legacy by rising up to that standard. But it's you, the consumer, who demands and gets what you demand, because businesses will always follow what you want. So they'll create what you want because that's what you'll pay for. So that's another discussion I want to continue on the meat side of things, but I've been feeling this is something I wanted to say for such a long time, and I'm finally sort of putting my thoughts together. So I hope you've taken the time to listen to the end of this, and I know I'm just stirring a pot of vegetables by talking, but you know, sometimes that's when I do my best thinking. I love to hear your thoughts. I love that you, if you found this useful or insightful, that you share it. And I'd love to start a discussion with all of you about this.